to another 31 Days of Horror 2019 video. Today, James was sleeping, so we couldn't have him pick anything, but Leslie narrowed it down to 4 films to pick. So we did a little behind the back, left, rights, and she came up with Devil's Night. I don't know if you can see that, it's pretty far away. Dark. Yeah, it is pretty dark. This is the one starring Danielle Harris, Steve Byers, and Sean Roberts. It's a Black Fawn distributing release here on DVD. I don't know anything about it, but I do know what Devil's Night is, so and it's got a guy with a knife on the cover, so I'm guessing it's some kind of a slasher around Halloween. Because that's what Danielle Harris is known for. Thoughts?
I think it's going to be okay. Because I know who she is now.
You know, because you know who she is now. Yeah.
And I liked her. I think I saw her in more than one thing. Like more than one different kind of thing. Not different kind. You know what I mean? Different movie things. You know what I'm trying to say?
Sure. Gotta speak up.
Like I saw her in The Hatchets, right?
Yes.
But I saw her in something else too.
Like Halloween.
Really?
That's where she was the little girl in
Oh. Well, that's not what I was thinking of. Anyway. So I think it's gonna be okay.
Alright. Because it's from Black Fawn, and I do know they've put out, I mean, they have a few not so great movies, but their track record is generally positive, and because of the subject matter that I'm thinking this movie is going to be about, I'm thinking I'm going to enjoy it, as long as it doesn't get too campy. If it gets really campy, it may, unless it's a comedy. If it's a comedy, it'll be fun, but I'm not getting comedic visuals on the front cover here. So I'm thinking this is supposed to be played serious, so as long as it's not too campy, should be okay. So, yeah, looking forward to it. So, we're going to sit back, watch it, and then come back and tell you what we really think. And we're back with some Devil's Night. Which apparently wasn't the original title. No. Found that out when we were looking for Devil's Night. And realized, hey, maybe it's not called Devil's Night, because something else was coming up. And that was a film called Left 4 Dead. But it's also known as Halloween Left 4 Dead. But, and the funny thing is I couldn't find any Halloween Left 4 Dead is the German title. Though not in German. Devil's Night is the Canadian and American name for the film. Yet, I know it was shot in Canada. It's a Canadian.
Your turn.
It was a Canadian film, so I'm guessing while it was doing the festival runs, it was probably called Left 4 Dead. So that was the original title it went under. Then somebody picked it up to distribute it, and they retitled it Devil's Night, is what I'm guessing.
I don't know why they do that, since there's so many called that.
I think it. Yeah, I don't know. Before I get into what the film's about and who's in it, let's just give it right off the bat. What did we think about it? Hey, James? Do you know?
It's like, oh.
Well, put it this way. He decided to let a big stinker go right in the middle of watching this. That's how much he enjoyed this one. Now we're talking a big stinker. Yes, he did. And I think we're both in agreement in that regard. Yeah.
I can't believe I left my bra on for this.
Yeah, there's no need to get comfortable with this one. Oi. So anyways, what is the film about? The film is about... It's got one of the most cliche frickin' stories you can have in a horror movie. Bunch of frat boys chase somebody down and accidentally kill them on Devil's Night. A year later, somebody's tracking down these frat boys and killing them. Bum, bum, bum.
But that could be okay. could be.
Honestly, this film, if it had been made like late 70s into the 80s and it was just one of those VHS cassettes, it wouldn't have been a classic or anything like that, but it would have been one of those slashers that you'd be like, oh yeah, you remember when this came out? Fine, but this film is from 2007. 2007. And it's just like, like, guys, maybe you want to step up your game a bit. Who's in the film? Oddly enough, this film is filled with people who have either previously done a lot and not just small things, or went on to do really big things. The main male lead, who is the guy who essentially you follow around for most of the film, is Steve Byers. Now, the name may not sound familiar to you, and the face may not seem familiar to you, oddly enough. But this guy, he's got the most, well, maybe Danielle Harris may have the most credits going to him, but he was, I don't know, more towards Canadians. He probably is Canadian. Slapshot 2, the direct-to-video sequel to Slapshot. He played Blaine in that. He was Roy Everts in that Carrie direct-to-TV movie remake thing. He was Matt in Uwe Boll's House of the Dead film. He then essentially, so he's done genre stuff, right? He did this film, and then after this, like he's like, this guy's a very, like, acted quite a bit. He went off and played Heracles in that big budget Immortals film, and he was in, what the heck, that Alphas TV series. And then he did, what was the last thing I saw? Oh yeah, Gridlocked. He played Scott Calloway, which is another, I think it was a Canadian action film. But there was something else that oh yeah, he played in that new Flatliners remake.
Oh.
And there was another thing that I saw. Maybe not, but yeah. Been in a lot of stuff since then, and then so yeah, he was the main, I guess, male. I don't know if there was really a main female. Danielle Harris, that was played his girlfriend, right? As Nancy. If you don't know who Danielle Harris is, like you said, from the Hatchet films, again, Halloween films, and I believe she was in the Halloween 4, I think it's Halloween 4 and 5. She was in the remake Halloween 2, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, The Last Boy Scout, all sorts of stuff, right? She's kind of made a name for herself. I think she was in the See No Evil movies, and all sorts of low-budget horror films. She's kind of taken that, I grew up in Halloween, and I was, the girl in Halloween, so made a career out of it. So, yeah, seeing her, honestly, she was the only one I really would have ranked. Because this was like 2007, so it's right in the peak of what she started doing as her comeback and doing all these horror films. But these other guys, and Sean Roberts, who played, just one of the frat guys. You would know him mostly, not from the Mostleys. I'll go from the less Mostleys, because you would know him. He did, I don't know if you've Jacob Tutu Meets the Hooded Fang. It's a kid's film from 1999. In 2000, famous little thing, right? This is one of those things on your resume. X-Men the movie. Rogue, her boyfriend in the film, has a great, that thing where she kills him. Yeah, that's him. Then he went on and did a bunch of other things where he played bit parts. Eventually coming to Land of the Dead, where he played Mike, and then he came back, and I believe he was in the sequel as well? Yeah, Diary of the Dead. He played a different person. He was in Skinwalkers. He was in Stir of Echoes, the sequel. Then he played in this film, and then he went on and did a whole bunch of stuff, mostly known for the Resident Evil films, starting with Afterlife and then moving on. He played the Albert Wesker character, and then that's just, a little bit zombie. He played Craig and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, so mostly you're going to know him for the Resident Evil films, and then, well, a little bit zombie would probably be one of the latest genre outings outside of Resident Evil. Then we got, going on more frat boys. Robbie Amell in this film, and he's one of those guys where, again, decent amount of work, and he's one of those guys who, before this, not a lot. Cheaper by the Dozen 2 was essentially it. After this, he played in American Pie Presents Beta House. So it's like, okay, he didn't really do much after that. But then, talk about claim to fame. Remember those Scooby-Doo live-action films? Not the first two, but the other ones? He's Fred. Yeah, you've seen... I haven't even seen those ones yet.
Seen them 10.
I have not seen those ones yet. So yeah, he's the Fred. He ended up being Fred, which is so weird.
I'm surprised I didn't recognize him.
Yeah, and then talking about more recent stuff, in the Flash TV series, he played the Firestorm character, and then he's done a whole bunch of Netflix stuff. ARQ, he was Renton in that for The Babysitter. He was Max, and then there was another one that he was in. Oh yeah, A Series of Fortunate Events. He played in 3 episodes of that. So he's kind of, I guess his agent has got him into the Netflix wheelhouse, which is pretty good for him. Because yeah, that's pretty steady work.
Oh yeah. I can see him as. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then we got another fat boy here, played by Daniel Clark. And Daniel Clark actually had something I think it was before. Was it before this? Yes, before this, that you might know him from. Stanley Hope. Does that name ring any bells? Well, it might if you watched Erie, Indiana. Yes. He then went on from that to play in I Was a 6th Grade Alien as Tim Tompkins.
Oh my god.
And then he did a whole, some Disney and Are You Afraid of the Dark type stuff. And eventually kind of disappearing, doing one-off episodes on television until he came to Juno. He played Steve in Juno, did this film, and then, believe it or not, went on to be Sean Cameron, claim to fame for Degrassi: The Next Generation. And yeah, that was 2001 to 2008, so he was running that sucker before this film, after this. That's his claim to fame, folks. That's where you're going to know him from. He was probably one of the younger ones looking in this film. And then, yeah, there's a whole bunch of other people ended up in Degrassi. It's so weird. There's a bunch of people, and honestly, obviously we're talking about fraternities and sororities, so there's a lot of people, and oddly enough, they all have, major roles in films or television, or, ongoing reoccurring roles, and yet somehow in the middle of their careers they decided to get together and do this one.
Yeah, it's a paycheck.
I guess so. The director, the writer, Christopher Harrison. That's it. If you've seen this film, you've seen it all, and it shows. Yeah, there's nothing else really to be said about this film with regards to who's in it and who's behind it. But yeah, is there something you want to say about this film? Because I know I'm sure you've been holding back.
No, I'm actually going to say something else stupid.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
Now that I've said that, it's totally really stupid. No, the major problem, I mean, there's problems, but the major problems that I had with this movie is that it's supposed to be all like, I guess, slashery and stuff, right? But you don't really see anything. Like, somebody will die, but you don't really see exactly how. It's just like, oh, now they're dead kind of thing, right?
There's a couple of kills.
Yeah, but it's not like I would expect. For example, in Hatchet 4, okay, there was stuff that happened in that movie that was just like, oh my god, I can't believe that. And like, it was good. It was really good. And in this thing, everything was so lame. So lame.
Well, yeah, but that also has to do with budget.
No. You could do better with what you have. It was so lame. Like, really? Really? I could have 2 Barbies and it would look better than what they did. It's like, oh, there's blood now. Oh no! Please. And you could overlook a whole bunch of other crap if you got good stuff going on.
And it's funny. I'm surprised that this is what she brings up, considering the amount of gratuitous nudity in this film. Like, seriously, that's the only thing it has going for it. They
showed everything.
They showed everything, except for males. None of the guys were naked.
Not even butts.
Not even butts. There was a lot of men, and a lot of men that should have been naked at certain points, but never actually shown naked. Yeah. No, they just focused on the girl, and the next thing you know, they're under the sheets. But yeah, there's a kill sequence in the shower, I guess a tribute to Psycho. And oh my god, like they spend a lot of time in the shower. We'll just say that. A lot of time in the shower. And it's not like shoulders up, washing the hair. No, it's like shot from down below, and you're just seeing pretty much everything.
Yeah, I had a problem with all that stuff too. But if the rest,
that's what I thought you were going to go for. But yeah, right off the bat, this movie starts off, and it has got some of the worst cinematography I have ever. She complained right off the bat. Like the Devil's Night that we talked about, and the bad things that happen. They're running through the forest, and the colors of the trees are changing depending on
how they're running.
The shot.
Oh yeah, where they were running.
Running from. Okay. So it's like, and it's it's edited together. So when they're shooting one way and they're doing the thing, trees look kind of grayish. Obviously shot at a different time of day, and then they're doing sort of a side profile, and all the trees are nice and green, and she's like, oh, well, that looks good. And then back to the gray, and she's like,
I'm like, what
the hell just happened? And it persisted through the entire film, where this was just so poorly shot that whoever was filming it, obviously it had no actual background in that. And if they did, I think they lied. Like if whoever hired them, if they came off and said, "Oh yeah, I've been doing this for a while," no, they lied.
Well, you said that it looked like a bunch of frat boys just like got together to make a movie. Right?
Essentially,
and
yeah.
then when you said that,
if I hadn't looked up who these people were and realized, holy crap, these people are actually actors, I would have thought they were all people who were actually in university who just had a camera like this. Well, maybe not even this good. Maybe whatever. It wasn't VHS quality, but it was a step up from that, and decided, hey, we're gonna make this film, and then shot it on weekends maybe, or when they weren't in school, or when they were in school. I don't know. There's supposed to be sororities and fraternities and stuff. Maybe they were doing it during school. I don't know, but that was the impression I got, where they were just, this is what we wrote down. Oh, it's like, okay, that's kind of stupid and lame, but whatever, we can shoot that. We have all the locations here. We have all our friends. We could do this. That's what it seemed like. Like, it seemed like a bunch of amateurs got together to make this movie. But that's not the case, apparently.
No, but when you said that, you know what I thought? Remember when we were at this thrift store like a few years ago or something, and we found a movie that was like made by kids in high school?
It was high school,
That
yeah.
probably would have been better than this.
Probably would have been better than this, yeah. I should have bought that then. But yeah, the sound, okay. Technical aspects aside, okay. At first I was like, okay, I wanted it better, but when I, finally realized, okay, this film is not getting better. It wasn't just a one-off scene glitch. No, this film is just going to be technically garbage. Then you kind of say, okay, I'm okay with that. I know a lot of films that I actually like have garbage, but they're, like I said, they're usually from the 80s when, people are trying to shoot on film, and it's a lot harder to do than with a computer and a digital camera these days. So, yeah, a lot of people who have said they like this film love the fact that it harkens back to, a slasher from the 1980s, which is fine. I get that. But here's the problem is it doesn't harken back to one of the good slashers from the 90s. And the dialogue is bad. The acting is terrible too, which is what I don't get. Like, I'm guessing they had nothing to work with, obviously. But yeah, the acting isn't any good, which is odd considering all these people are like established actors. So, somebody must have been calling in favors. I don't know how the heck this happened. I don't know.
In the beginning, before we watched it, you said you didn't want campy, and then when I was suggesting stuff in the movie that would make it better, you were like, "Oh yeah, I'd want campy at this point."
Well, that was it. I was like, you know what? Give me anything. Give me something humorous to laugh at. Give me something. That's all. That's essentially what it ended up being. I'm watching this film and I was just like, give me something. Please give me something.
You know what it gave you? It ended.
Yeah, it ended with one of the worst potential sequel. Oh, it's just.
Don't say anything. You don't want to.
I'm not gonna spoiler that one because if it's probably my favorite aspect of this film is just how bad. You know when a film leads to there's a possible sequel, right? That ending that it's not a twist ending, but it's just one of those whatever's stories possible allows for a sequel. This one is so bad that it's possibly my favorite part of the movie. That and the mask that the killer had. I get why I guess the German release Halloween, Left 4 Dead or whatever the heck it was, goes to it, because the mask does have like a kind of a Michael Myers thing. If Michael Myers had grown out his hair and dyed it blonde and most of it had fallen out, that's kind of what was going on with it. But at the same time, I kind of liked it as, like it was cheap but different at the same time, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. Garbage. Rating? Maybe one. I give it an extra half, cause yeah, I don't know why. I just did.
Because everybody's naked.
Yeah, extra half point for nudity. There you go. That's why.
You don't get to say that. I'm right here.
We saw the movie together. It's not like I didn't watch.
Yeah, but you don't get to be like, wow, you get an extra half point for that. No, you should put it down.
Oh, that's what you do. Yeah. There's no recommends coming from anybody in this room. I don't even.
12-year-old boys
I don't even
would
have to
like this
ask.
movie. That's who'd like this movie.
That's who would like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. James is usually like boobies, and he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And this one, he was just like,
Literally.
Yeah.
With his mouth, like.
like he has been up until the point where we were shooting this video.
Serious.
Out his bum, out his mouth, everywhere. He's just been like rating this thing with 5 duties out of 5 duties is essentially what he's been giving it. So, yeah, I'm surprised he stopped as soon as the camera went on. But yeah, wow, this is I'm sorry, man.
It's so disappointing. I thought it
It's
would
so
be okay.
It is so disappointing. It's almost like I want to watch these extras to see what
No, you don't.
what the hell. Well, it's got a Q&A with Danielle Harris and the writer-director Christopher Harrison. It's like I just it's like that's where I want to be like watching it and go, oh yeah, we've been friends for like 20 years, and you'd be like, that's why you're in the movie. Oh yeah. Well, there you go. They can't. Oh man, we're having some real stinkers so far.
Seriously. And it's not my fault.
You're the one
this
picking
crap.
them. You're the one picking them. Oh man. So yeah, more 31 days still to come. Hopefully we get something good that we both like. Oi.
Look, even him. Look, he's like.
Yeah, he's had enough. Anyways, keep watching. Comment down below. What at this point you can say just comment. I'll reply and maybe we'll have a laugh. 'Cause I need one right now. I need something after this. Stiff drink maybe. Anyways, till next video. Take care. Have a good one. No extra comments? No?